I'm Wyatt Earp, and these are my brothers,
Wyatt Earp.
Virgil and Morgan.
Dodge City.
Gave all that up, Sheriff.
In the early 90s, there was a renewed interest in producing westerns again. Films like Dances with Wolves and Young Guns 2 started the decade, followed by Unforgiven and Tombstone. But the latter film stood out from the rest, not because it was regarded as better, but because it was based on a true story and an actual lawman in Wyatt Earp. But is the movie any good? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Tombstone.
Clantons and McLaury's are gunning for us.
We're going down there now. What are we gonna do?
Wait till the liquor wears off.
Tombstone is an American Western loosely based on the gunfight at the OK Corral and the subsequent Earp Vendetta ride. The film was officially directed by George P. Cosmatos and written by Kevin Jarre. The film's production started with Jarre at the director's seat, but since this was his first film at the helm, he was overwhelmed by the job and was fired about a month after the production started in Arizona. Cosmatos, who famously directed Rambo First Blood Part 2, came in and got to work. But according to Kurt Russell, who was supported by statements from Val Kilmer, it was he that was actually doing the directing and Cosmatos was the frontman. Michael Biehn kind of remembers it differently, but let's just put that aside. It was Russell, together with James Jacks, who helped trim out some of the plot points and focus the movie on the relationship between Earp and Holiday.
Did you always say that gambling's an honest trade?
No, I said poker's an honest trade. Only suckers buck the tiger. The odds are all on the house.
The story of the movie focuses on Wyatt Earp and his brothers who moved to the town of Tombstone, Arizona, chasing their fortune in the silver business that the town is known for. All three of them are joined by Wyatt's friend, Doc Holliday, mostly because Holliday thought that the dry air would help his lung condition.
Evidently, Mr. Ringo's an educated man. Now I really hate him.
Earp's name carries in the town as the lawman from Dodge City, but he and his brothers want to keep themselves out of trouble and out of the law enforcement business. This is, of course, hard to get because a gang called the Cowboys rule the town like an old-fashioned mafia, and it is inevitable that the Earp family will have to do something about it.
Your friends might get me in a rush, but not before I make your head into a canoe. You understand me?
He's bluffing. Let's rush him. No. He ain't bluffing.
Let's talk about the casting because it is a big part of why the movie is so great. We have an all-star cast. The four main quote-unquote good guy roles are filled with Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, and Val Kilmer. Russell as Earp has a great and stern depiction of the original guy. It was clear to me that Russell has studied the real Earp, a man rarely laughing or enjoying life. Russell infused a little bit of complexion within that role to have his take on what the man was really about, showing us a little bit of humanity within him, even to the point of almost saying, look at this man. He might be a hero, but he's also a man and he is flawed.
Johnny, I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.
Just leave that shotgun.
Paxton and Elliott always bring their A game to any role, but there wasn't a lot for them to do in the movie because the movie actually concentrates on Earp and Holiday. But whenever they are needed, you got top-level acting. To me, Sam Elliott was the stronger of the two, and he probably had the better lines.
These people are afraid to walk down the street, and I'm trying to make money off that like some goddamn vulture.
But of course, it was Val Kilmer who stole the show. Doc Holliday is such a unique performance from Kilmer, even though he is just on a supporting role. Kilmer as Holiday made the biggest impact on this movie, driving all the rest of the characters forward, and it was a sort of a cavalry support to Earp's endeavors. Every time Wyatt needs Doc, he is there for him, with that sallow face, barely standing, and with that southern drawl and the gunmanship skills to match his larger-than-life personality. Kilmer's performance in this role was so good, he was cast as Batman for the upcoming Batman Forever.
You must be Doc Holliday.
That's the rumor.
You retired too?
Not me. I'm in my prime.
But let's not forget, honorable mentions do go for the villains with Michael Biehn as Ringo and Powers Booth as Bill Curley playing the leaders of the Cowboys, with Biehn matching the intensity that Kilmer brought to the role of Holiday.
Behold, a pale horse. The man who sat on him was death.
And hell followed with him.
Regardless of the fact that it's loosely based on a true story that got overblown, Tombstone is not a biopic. It took real names and real situations and completely fictionalized them in order to entertain. Most of Earp's exploits, especially the OK Corral gunfight, were not even known while he was still alive. But the movie itself stands on its own without the real history or other movies' interpretations of that history. As we start the movie, we get a little bit of a quick background story, laying down the foundation of why Tombstone was such an important town at the time, and as the characters get introduced, we get the feel of who they are and what they want. Everything you see in the movie was done so in order to put you in the 1880s Western frontier town. Even the actors grew and stylized their mustaches according to the fashion of the time. Except for one guy, but he had a reversed Henry Cavill kind of situation, but we'll put that aside. What you don't get is a sense of a squeaky clean version of the Old West, but a rough, dirty, and kind of a smelly one. The movie slowly builds up to the action points, but there's always a sense of danger and that anyone might get killed because of fighting words.
Look, darling, Johnny Ringo, the deadliest pistoleer since Wild Bill, they say.
I will highly recommend you pick up this movie to watch. I really enjoyed the acting from everyone involved, especially enjoying Val Kilmer in the role of Doc Holliday. The movie itself had everything you want from a Western. Gunfights, stare-downs, gambling, showboating, and a hell of a good time immersing yourself in the Old West. Only drawback I see in the movie is that it's a slow burn, and the whole angle of Wyatt's lust over Josephine didn't really sit well with me. I thought it was unnecessary, but I will finish with a quote from Kilmer himself, as this video comes out a few days after his passing. And this is his personal stance about the West and guns. One way or another, Americans have to deal with the West and its glorious, sordid, sadistic past. We have fought lawlessness to create an even more lawless law, one that excuses and perpetuates genocide. Even today, this gun-obsessed nation that we love remains mired in the dilemma centered on pistols and rifles with a romantic ties to our murderous past. We love Westerns. We learned everything from Westerns, and yet we learned nothing from them. We continue killing ourselves in an unconscionable way, and that is why I had the chance to play the role of Doc Holliday, and I grabbed it. Val Kilmer, I am your Huckleberry.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.